right, hello. I think we are live. I'm going to wait a little bit, see who hops on before we get started, but I'll take care of some housekeeping first, because I've never done this before. But I do a weekly radio show, which I'm sure a lot of you, if you're watching, are familiar with that. I usually put it up on my podcast channel, and that's my weekly, like, 1-hour radio show. So it's actually 58 minutes and 26 seconds. So what we're going to do, that's me looking up at the clock. So what we're going to do is, this is going to be a live stream. So, when people hop on, if you want to ask questions, if you want me to do a Q&A, we can do that. It can be interactive. I honestly don't know how long this is going to go. That'll kind of depend on how quickly I get through some of this material. And also on, gauging your interest in how long you want to go. So I'm not sure, but we will definitely go for 58 minutes and 26 seconds. And then if there is more to cover, what I will do is close out. You'll hear my outro, my typical outro for the podcast. That will close out the radio show for my radio audience. And if you are listening to the radio, they will be able to watch the rest of it by joining the live stream, the podcast. So stay on if you want to see, if we're going to continue. I just wanted to prep you that that's what we're going to be doing. So that it wasn't like an abrupt, ending kind of thing. But yeah, so for today, we're going to be covering the Deep Seek and the Stargate. And this is, I'm not super versed in all the tech. So I'm really just going to be going through what's going on here, and also I want to dive in a little bit into the precision medicine and how that's going. So yeah, so before I start the radio show, I see some of you have hopped on. Welcome. Happy Sunday evening. Does everything sound okay? How is the sound? Can I get some feedback? If any of you are in the chat, just let me know before I continue. I don't want to continue if the sound is problematic. So just checking on that. And yeah, if you're hearing me good, you can just thumbs up. You can, just give me some sort of indication that you're hearing clear, and all systems go. Yeah? No? All right, so I think we're still checking on the tech. Okay, my voice has a weird echo, and there's fuzzy noise. That is no good. Sounds very strange, echo and static. Okay, no bueno. Sorry. All right, so if you'll bear with me for just a bit, we're going to see if we can figure this out. So, hang on. Am I still sounding fuzzy? Echo and fuzzy noise? No? Okay. Yeah, all right. So we're still working on it. Testing. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, so we're still testing. I'm gonna try and get this cleared up. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, we'll get this fixed. Yeah. All right, we're good to go. Yay. All right. Thank you. Perfect. All right. So I guess in that case, we'll get started. And maybe before I do, I wanted to kind of go through, I'll probably cover this during the radio too. But just since you're all on, this is, I had gotten some advice on how to do like structure. I'm going to be doing more premium content over on my Substack. So if you have any kind of things that you would want, I've thought about maybe doing a book club. Is that something that would interest you? If you have things you would want for premium content, then yeah, let me know. Give me some suggestions, because I'm trying to figure out how to structure all that so that we can keep going. And yeah, so we'll start. Let's start with the radio show. So I think we're going to do the intro again, and we'll get going. I'm glad the sound's working. Hello, and welcome to the Courtenay Turner Radio Hour. So, we are trying something new today. This is going to be for the first hour for my radio show, my radio listeners, and it is actually a live stream. So, if you are listening to this on the radio and it cuts off and you wanted to hear the rest of it, then you can hop on over to my channel. That is CourtenayTurner.com, and that is spelled like CourtenayTurner. And that is where you can find all of my podcasts and of course all the ways to support my work as well. So this is the first time I'm doing it this way, but we're going to give this a shot. Those of you who are watching live, hello, happy Sunday. Yeah, so at my website, I'm going to go through a little bit of, just my usual housekeeping kind of notes, the ways you can support the work that I'm doing. Yeah, so that is again, CourtenayTurner.com. And we have some great affiliate products, and we also have some direct support, like the buy me a coffee option. That's the orange circle with a little mug, and then we also have a Venmo option, which is I'm learning this is called FinTech, uh, and that is Venmo at Courtenay, which is spelled like Courtenay, so Courtenay hyphen Turner at Venmo. I also have GiveSendGo. And then we have a snail mail option. And I recently learned that the granddaddy of Game B actually coined that term, snail mail. And this is where you can send your analog support. So this is Courtenay Turner at 6041 Rural Plains Circle, Suite 110, number 106, Franklin, Tennessee, 37064. And then we also have some great products like the Relax Saunas, relaxsaunas.com. If you use your promo code COURTZ, COURTZ, this is where you can get $100 off on all of your far infrared saunas and lamps at relaxsaunas.com. And we also have the rncstore.com, and this is where you can get all of your B17 needs. And you can learn about A World Without Cancer that was written by the legendary G. Edward Griffin. And this is where you can get the B17 from your apricot seeds. I take them every day, usually morning and night. And promo code COURTZ, again, COURTZ, will get you 10% discount site-wide. And then we also have a new product that I have been using daily. I keep hearing miracle stories. This is a way to activate your own stem cells. So it's restorewithcourtz.com, and you can find that on my website as well, and just click the link. And these are a technology that uses light in order to stimulate your own stem cell activation. And this is, they actually have a patent on it, and that's what the patent says. So it's very interesting and exciting kind of technology. And we are going to be launching a new product. So hopefully the website will be up next week for that. So please stay tuned. I'm super excited. We've been working very hard on it. So I'm looking forward to sharing that all with you. And then, of course, my Substack. And this is where I typically, with the exception of live stream, typically all of my podcasts go there first at the current moment. So you get them beforehand. And then also we will start doing premium content there. So if you can become a paid subscriber, that is greatly appreciated as well. And yeah, so this is for WWCR Worldwide Radio. It is always such an honor to be here and spend this hour with you all, and of course with all of you who are watching live. I thought we would dive into this deep seek and the Stargate, which it kind of reminds me of like Cold War 2.0. They're in an arms race for the AI, which looks a little bit like a cyber Satan to me, but it is very, very interesting and potentially very, very scary. So I'm going to start by reading you this quote. And it says, DeepSeek is a nuclear bomb detonated in the heart of Silicon Valley. It is straight up challenge to America's de facto royal family of tech Brahmins who thought their reign would last forever. And I feel like that kind of does sum it up. So let's go through some. This is from an article that's AI capital of tech from Palo Alto to Hangzhou. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. I apologize. So yes, so this article let's see, we'll open it up. And so this is, of course, the, Silicon Valley. It was Trump made the big announcement about Stargate, and this is the $500 billion, AI um, investment. And of course, with all of these, Silicon Valley companies that are coming together to work on this project, but it isn't really Trump. This is really a consortium of companies. He's endorsing it, of course. And then we've got China's DeepSeek, which was less than $10 million and it apparently built in only 2 months. I don't know if that's true, but that is the narrative that's been put forth. And they are saying that it blows any of the ChatGPT, OpenAI, all of that out of the water, and that it is much faster, much more efficient. It's a much better product, supposedly. I have not used it. I have no idea. But the reason I bring up the fact that, it was Trump just endorsing it and announcing it, not really his, is I know he's gotten a lot of pushback. I've gotten a lot of pushback. People saying like Trump is ushering in the technocracy. And I would say this is just my analysis, having studied these plans really for well over a century. And I would argue this goes back even further. I would say even the ancients really did talk about this, just the technology wasn't there. But to think that it's Trump rolling in the technocracy, I think is a little bit uh, naive and kind of lazy. It's just wanting to point fingers. I think the technocracy was coming regardless. And I certainly hope that he might do something to push back. Time will tell on that. I don't know. It's not looking that way. But I certainly don't think that he created it or ushered it in. I feel like this was going to happen regardless. But at least he's not partnering up with the UN's, Global Digital Compact, although I'd like to see him exit it because that was an official partnership that the Biden-Harris administration did in November of last year. That would be a really great step if we took it. Yeah. So someone said precision medicine is not a good thing. I agree. I absolutely agree. I've been kind of screaming from the rooftops about this. I was saying how I really liked the narrative that and the messaging of MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. I very much support that statement. Make America healthy again. I'm all for banning things like seed oils. I personally have a seed oil allergy. I would love nothing more than to see them go away. World War II artillery grease does not belong in your food. Things like all of those endocrine disruptors that we have here in the United States. For my global audience, they're probably laughing. I know in Europe they allow 3 in their food, at least in Switzerland when we were there. That's what they were telling me. Um, and here they allow something like 1,800. It's just insane. All the glyphosate and the pesticides, this stuff, I'm all on board with that Maha narrative. I hope they really execute it. Of course, they, just brought on the head lobbyist for seed oil. So it's not looking great there either, but hopefully I all this to say I support the messaging. However, I was saying that, RFK has historically been a big proponent of this precision medicine agenda. And this precision medicine is not new. And I actually think I did not bring up my link on this, but I will find it. It's actually comes from Obama. This was the Obama White House archives that had it has this whole document on precision health medicine. And let me see if I can get this. Um, sorry. Uh, yeah, so this is a very scary kind of plan that's actually really been in the works for obviously, Obama was well over a decade ago. So this was the document that's in the archives. It's the Obama White House archives.gov. And it's converging technologies for improving human performance, nanotechnology, biotechnology, information technology, and cognitive science. And I won't go through too much of this document, but I'll just read you a couple of things from their table of contents so you get a little sense of this. Hi, Karen. You saw my tweet. Awesome. And hi, Harry. So, okay. It's here's some things that stood out for me: expanding human cognition and communication. Um, they talk about visionary projects, socio-tech, the predictive science of social behavior, improving humane health and physical capabilities, more visionary products, brain machine interface via the neuromuscular approach, neurovascular approach, human machine interaction, potential impact of nanotechnology in the design of the neuroprosthetic device aimed at restoring or augmenting human performance. Um, it reminds me of that document that came out of the UK, like Augmented Humanity. I forgot the exact name, but that was basically what it was. Nanotechnology, the merging of diagnostics and treatment, right? This is what they're talking about with their, what I think it was Larry Ellis was talking about how we're going to have nanotechnology that's going to help us with predicting cancer, artificial brains and natural intelligence, converging technologies for physiological self-regulation, improving quality of life of disabled people using converging technologies. They always couch it and that it's going to help the disabled, which I personally find really offensive. I mean, it'd be wonderful if they really did it, but typically they use that as a a carrot to dangle, and that's typically not what it's really about at all. Then there's cognition, social interaction, communication, and convergent technology. This all sounds like biodigital convergence, does it not? Uh, okay, what else? More visionary project. The enhancement of group communication, efficiency, and creativity. National security. Yes, national security. I do think what's going on right now looks a lot like the Patriot Act 2.0. We have the Cold War 2.0 and Patriot Act 2.0, two things I do not want to see a repeat of. Cognitive readiness and important research focus for national security. Um, yeah, it's the NBIC for Homeland Defense, chemical, biological, radiological, explosive detection, protection. Nanotechnology and the Department of Defense, advanced military education and training. Then there's non-drug treatments for enhancement of human performance. Right, none of this is sounding good, is it? It sounds pretty invasive. Converging technologies for K through 12 education vision. Yeah, they're now talking about the children. Trading zone, expanding the trading zones for convergent technologies, biological language modeling. So yeah, and they have this little document, little Venn diagram, and it says converging technologies for improving human performance, bio, nano, info, cogno. And then I'll just read this last one: changing the societal fabric towards a new structure, the integration and synergy of the four technologies, nano, bio, info, cogno, originate from the nanoscale where the building blocks of matter are established. The picture symbolizes the confluence of technologies that now offers the promise of improving human lives in many ways, and the realignment of traditional disciplinary boundaries that will be needed to realize this potential. New and more direct pathways towards human goals are envisioned in working habits, in economic activities, and in the humanities. And then right under it, it says the picture suggests advancement of converging technology, meaning biodigital convergence is what they mean. Oh, anyway, I wanted to bring that up just to point out that this stuff is not new at all. I mean, since the 50s, they were working on remote brain interface. So this really isn't new, unfortunately. And this long precedes Trump. So, okay, let's go back to that other document where he was saying China's DeepSeek AI moves the capital of tech from Palo Alto to Hangzhou. And the part, of course, Mark Andreessen even says DeepSeek R1 is one of the most amazing and impressive breakthroughs I've ever seen, and as open source, a profound gift to the world. So they keep pointing out how it's open source, and I think this is really I have no idea what kind of communication is going on behind the scenes, like whether how much is really competition, how much is really collaboration. I'm not privy to that sort of information. But if we do, take any kind of lessons from the Cold War, they kept telling us that they were the enemy and they were working in, cahoots a lot of the time. There's so much evidence that they were really colluding behind the scenes. Now, that doesn't mean that what they were planning wasn't the enemy of the American people. I absolutely think it was, but the governments were working together. One of my favorite documents that I love to point out, just because it's hilarious, is the CIA document. It was like the Esselin's hot tub diplomacy. Where they were basically saying that sex, drugs, and rock and roll were going to create world peace. So I guess if you do enough drugs, you don't have any enemies. So, um, but just to point out that they were really working together. But that doesn't mean that it's not the enemy of the people, and that's really what I see kind of here. And again, I don't know. It might really be a very genuine arms race where they're trying to do this so that they can get ahead. Because really, whoever controls the AI, isn't that what Kissinger said, that he who controls the AI is going to be controlling the world, and it's kind of starting to look that way. So then we have in this document meta, or in a panic mode. And so we'll go through the companies that are involved in, hold on, any water? We'll go through some of the companies that are involved in Stargate, which, by the way, I think that's a very interesting name, Stargate, right? Do you remember like the CIA Project Stargate, which was all about remote viewing? And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's kind of what they're trying to create a global brain, and of course they think that we'll all converge into this collective intelligence. If you've been following my work on game B, that's actually the term that they use collective intelligence, which is reminiscent of Jung, of course, collective unconscious. Certainly Teilhard de Chardin with the noosphere concept. That's, they're all kind of in the same vein. So Meta Genai organization in a panic mode is what it says here. It started with DeepSeek V3, which rendered the Llama 4 already behind in benchmark. Adding insult to injury was the unknown Chinese company with 5.5 billion trading budget. Engineers are moving frantically to dissect DeepSeek and copy anything and everything that we can from it. I'm not even exaggerating. Management is just worried about justifying the massive costs of GenAI.org. How would they face leadership when every single leader of Gen AI org is making more than what it costs to train DeepSeek V3 entirely? And we have dozens of such quote unquote leaders. DeepSeek R1 made things even scarier. I can't even reveal confidential info, but it'll soon be public anyway. It should have been engineering focused small org, but since a bunch of people wanted to join the impact and grab artificially inflate hiring in the org, everyone loses. So let me get back. Find the rest of this. Sorry, I lost my place. So, okay, and then they go through this list, and I'm going to read the list to you if I can find it. So yes, I have the pictures here. Okay, so Stargate, if it goes forward, is likely to become one of the biggest wastages of capital in history. One, it hinges on outdated assumptions about the importance of computing scale in AI, the bigger compute, better AI dogma, which DeepSeek just proved is wrong. It assumes that the future of AI is with closed and controlled models, despite the market's clear preference for democratized open source alternatives. So I think that's actually a really important point. So again, when I was talking about how I don't know how much, they're working together, they're not. What I do know is there's this huge push to convince everybody that everything in Web3, which is, the emerging next iteration of the web, the World Wide Web, is going to be decentralized, right? The term I told you on Game B, they kept saying DeFi, decentralized finance. And that's it seems like across the board, they're trying to convince you that. However, there's a lot of evidence to indicate that decentralized does not mean decentralized. Um, there's no way to have that kind of interoperability without it being, you know, without it having some sort of centralization component. And there was I didn't play this clip because I actually have a bunch of videos and I thought it would take too much time. But it's from Richard Grove. He did an interview back in, I think, 2014 with Binny, and he was a NSA whistleblower. And he actually said how even with encryption, it's never really private. That they figured out how to hack into these things, and so therefore all of like once they create the thing, they can hack into the thing. So that was kind of a lie to begin with, and I think the same goes with a lot of this blockchain stuff. There's I think that it's harder to hack into, but they've already proven they can. So I think it's going to get very interesting. But even if theoretically you couldn't hack into it, there's still interoperability. Otherwise, you can't share the information. So it becomes this double-edged sword where, yes, we want everything to be easy and convenient and to have the information sharing. But how do you really have it be isolated, localized, and private and maintain that level of interoperability? I just don't think that that's realistic. It sounds like a utopian vision. Um, yeah, so it bets of the farm on OpenAI, a company plagued by governance issues and business model that's seriously challenged. DeepSeek cost 30 times cost advantage. In short, it's like building $500 billion uh, Maginette line, very expensive moment, obsolete, misguided assumption. This is OpenAI and by extension, the US fighting the last war. And that was Arnaud Bertrand who said that. So, yeah, I wanted to go through just some of those that they're, what they're kind of claiming are the big pitfalls of Stargate and the OpenAI. And then I found a couple of because I've been thinking, I just had the thought that this reminds me a lot of the Cold War. So I did a little bit of digging, and it looks like there's actually were a bunch of symposiums, and again they're long videos, but I can just show you the links that the Chatham House had talking about the Cold War with China. So and I feel like if anything is going to foment a Cold War with China, a AI arms race would be just the thing to do it. Of course, I was listening to a video where they were talking about all the problems that this presents, and of course, the solution, it was a video on YouTube, and unfortunately, I don't remember where I found it because it got lost in the shuffle of all the research I was doing. At the end, the guy was saying the solution is, of course, we need to be collaborative. We need to, coordinate with each other and work with each other. So it kind of just sounded like the solution, as usual, is globalism, which I don't think is the solution. That doesn't mean I think there should be a Cold War either. But I think that it's kind of like a Thucydides trap, they're kind of forcing us into one or the other options. But yeah, so they were talking about a Republican foreign policy for a new Cold War. And I did listen to the video. They kind of went through the various scenarios. This was before Biden had dropped out of the race. So they were talking about whether or not it would be Biden or Trump and what that would mean for a potential war with China, whether it be hot or cold. And then there was another one. It was called, I think, the New Cold War, and they were talking about a war with China, a Cold War with China. And so they say, yeah, artificial intelligence, AI. Um, yeah, okay, so this is Yeah, the next thing I wanted to get into, sorry, is China's, because so we're talking about AI precision medicine. And this has been, of course, at the forefront of the Stargate announcement. And I think there's many concerns, obviously, just with AI in general. Of course, once you get to AI general intelligence, which is what they keep saying is coming. And I don't know if we'll really get there. But what I do know is that a lot of what they're talking about with the AI precision medicine is actually kind of really well in the works already. We already know they have wireless um, you know, network, wireless body networks. They're called WBANs. We know they have those already. We know that they have, I've talked about this many times on this podcast, the Project Salus, where they were using these wireless body networks. That means you didn't have to have anything, like nothing implanted, no body sensors. This is just you're in a specific area, and then they're able to use various technologies in order to monitor your biometric data. And this was already done. COVID was definitely a major experimentation on this. But yeah, now there, when it comes to this nanotech stuff, people, I feel like it's really difficult to talk about because they do such a good job of trying to discredit people. Yes, using our biofield, exactly. They do such a good job of, and it does sound crazy, but when you start looking into the research, it's not just the patents. Of course, yes, there is that patent. What is it? Microsoft's patent, who is very much very integral to this Project Stargate because they work directly with OpenAI. But Microsoft had that patent on the cryptocurrency, um, or the cryptocurrency and body, data activity. And this was the patent was like 060606. So a lot of people were saying it was like the mark of the beast because it was 666. Yes, here it is, cryptocurrency system using body activity data. And this was in 2020 where people were talking about this, but I believe the first iteration of this patent was actually 2018, but they did update it a few times. And so, of course, a lot, yeah, there we go, in 2019, 2020, but yes, 2018. So they do have the patent on this. And I've made it pretty clear I'm really concerned about the cryptocurrencies. Now, I find very encouraging. I'm really glad that Trump rejected central bank digital currencies. However, I kind of thought that was coming. I think too many people are aware of the potential perils of a central bank digital currency. A lot of people, regardless of political identity or affiliation, do not want that kind of like centralized top-down control that could potentially result from a central bank digital currency. So my concern was that they would kind of present this dialectical pole, this opposite, which was claiming to be completely decentralized cryptocurrencies. And now, at the moment, Bitcoin, I believe, is still finite. So it's not technically a fiat system, but it doesn't really take much to change that or to deregulate it so that that's not the cryptocurrency that can be utilized. And we're already seeing with the Trump coin, the Melania coin, like they started out with a certain number and now they've already, exponentially increased that number. So it's definitely a fiat currency. And my concern is that what they're going to do is this is going to be operating through the private sector through network states. And I did a whole show on network states. I've been talking about the network state. I really had this theory that Game B was going to kind of funnel into the network state. I see a lot of overlap, and there is a website for network states that are, approved quote unquote companies that are technically network states. And at this website, you see companies you would totally expect, like Prospera, which is of course, Peter Thiel's Bitcoin cities in Honduras. You expect that. But then they also have Vitalia, which is that's a subsidiary of, Prospera, which is a life extension focused digital community and new city And this is where I think they changed their website now, but initially it had said, build a city where death is optional. So it does sound like it's a transhuman type of agenda there. Um, and so these are companies you would expect. Then I saw pending approval. Now, granted, it's been pending for a while. However, in December, or maybe it was even maybe later, I don't know. But uh, Bijal Srinivasan, who is the originator of the network state, said it's listed for pending approval. So, that I think he approves them, but he might have a board. I don't know how it works. But Game B is pending approval. So it seems like my conjecture was not that far off. Yeah, a novel society built from the age of social network. And yeah, so I think there it is. It's listing as under review. And then if you click on it, I think the comment is from Srinivasan. So my concern is that they're going to have these various network states. And just for those of you who are not familiar, we'll give a little brief of what a network state is. But it's basically this idea that you do not have geographical nation states. Instead, you'll have these cyber networks, and those will be your ideological states essentially, like Prospera is a startup, for Bitcoin cities, and the Prospera was, I'm sorry, the Vitalia was the life extension city. And of course, this was based on Peter Thiel's concept of seasteading, which Srinivasan has a whole chapter in his book, The Network State, on seasteading, which very much inspired this concept of the network states. But the network states will have their own currency. And you'll need a digital ID to enter. And your whole life is going to be in this metaverse, and you can be locked out. And when you have no matter how decentralized, yes, like the metaverse, no matter how decentralized this seems, it's you're still centrally connected through these, the various nodes and the various networks and the community, right? So I think it's another version of communitarianism, essentially, which is communist fascist feudalism, essentially, just using technology. So it's very concerning to me, and it's also not centralized because a lot of them are working with public-private partnerships. So they're working in conjunction with these big mega NGOs that often work with governments. So yeah, and then once you start, looking at the AI World Society and how they're saying they're going to supplant all AI, all human governments with AI. Yes, it all gets very concerning. So, okay, we'll go back to I was talking about how the precision health medicine is not a new thing. I had read you a little bit from Obama White House archives, so we know it was at least as old as that, but it goes way further back. It's just that the technology is really advancing, and China has been doing this for quite a while, and in some ways, I think China has actually led the way on this. So there, there's the first thing I have is that China has these AI hospitals, which I don't know, sounds horrifying to me. um, and I don't want to make this sound like all doomy. I think that there are good things that can come out of AI and out of technology in general. The technology itself is not, inherently evil. But this is the thing we have to really consider in medicine is just think about the calculator. So my math skills, I don't know about y'all, but my math skills have gone like completely down the drain as soon as I got a calculator. And, I was really good at all of my tables and, basic math, like addition table, the multiplication, division, whatever it is. And then as soon as I got a calculator, I didn't have to do any of that work anymore. And so I really just kind of didn't use it. And now I don't really have those skills anymore. The same thing with the cell phone. Once when I was a little kid, if you mentioned a number once, if you like told me your phone number, I would memorize it for life. Now I don't even see the number because it goes directly into my phone and I never even look at that number, let alone memorize it. So this is just a very rudimentary example of how our cognitive faculties start to decline when we abdicate them to and we outsource them to technology. So what happens when doctors are no longer trained in the same capacity when they're depending very heavily on AI. At the moment, AI does not have the capability, it doesn't have the track record to outperform a human. But what happens when it does, or when they claim that it does, right? Because statistics can be fudged. I'm not trying to be really cynical, but what happens when we're of the belief that the AI can compete with the human? Now the doctors aren't even going to be trained, and you won't have. So the AI might compete with the average doctor, but I will argue that I don't think they'll ever outperform, the top doctor. And I personally would like to see that human be overseeing the AI. So it becomes very concerning. But not only will you not have that top doctor overseeing it anymore, but now the average doctor, that mean is going to go down because they're not being trained because of the work that the AI can do. So we have these Chinese hospitals, right? That are they're AI hospitals. AI in Chinese healthcare, from medical imaging to AI hospitals. Artificial intelligence in Chinese healthcare has seen remarkable growth since implementing the Healthy China 2030 initiative. Isn't that interesting? 2030? Does that sound like it's part of the Agenda 2030 plan? Um, Initiative in 2016, with a strong government backing, AI plays a pivotal role in cancer treatment. Isn't that what we're hearing here in the US? Is that this is going to play a pivotal role in cancer treatment? They were saying that it's going to be able to predict the cancer in the blood. Um, and diagnostic imaging, and of course, telemedicine. So, telemedicine is kind of a double-edged sword because I think that there are some great benefits to telemedicine, but when did we really see an uptick in telemedicine? It was really during COVID, right? The 2020, that was when telemedicine started to really take off. And I do think it's part of a bigger plan, a bigger agenda, where right now you still have doctors who you talk to on the other end of the screen, and so there is still that human interface, even though it's through a digital interface. You still have a human on the other end. So, it's like a video conference or phone call or whatnot. But I think once they start replacing that with robots, that's where I think this is like they're conditioning people to do that. And I find that very concerning. So, not that I think all telemedicine is bad, but I would very much caution against that. Um, so, then the country's regulatory framework, such as Personal Information Protection Law, PIPL, ensures that while healthcare data is protected, it also fuels the development of AI-powered solutions. And they keep talking about how protected, decentralized, and how you are the agent, but in practical application, it does not look that way at all, actually. So this article goes through, there's so many of them. They go through all of the major progress that China has made in AI healthcare. They talk about cancer and lung nodule detection. Um, they talk about cancer detection in radiology, endoscopy, pathology, and skin imaging. And then they go on, they talk about medical imaging. And then they talk about AI based eye tracking technology, also trained to detect ADHD. So now we're going to have, yeah, we're reduced to idiocracy meets priesthood, kind of. That does seem like what where we're looking at. So yeah, now they're going to have ADHD symptoms that are going to be able to be detected from a tablet. So can you imagine this now? Like your child is uh, using your tablet, and they read their eye tracking and decide your child has ADHD. And now let's just hypothetically say this precision medicine goes where they want it to go, and they already have these biosensors in them, and they can just give them medicine for their ADHD. Really, I mean, theoretically, without even your consent. And I say theoretically only because that hasn't been implemented. We don't have any policies around that, and I don't believe even China does. But it's not theoretical in terms of the technology. They do have this type of technology, and if I have time, I will get to some of that. And this is what I was trying to say before about
how they did such a good job discrediting people, with that, like the 666 patent, and saying how they, that doesn't mean that, the during the 2020 meant that, we're suddenly filled with nanobots, and that's just a crazy theory. The reality is these they actually don't even need to implant anything. This nanotechnology, they have frequency technology, they have optogenetics, they have sound frequency, and this stuff has been in the works for a very long time. And when you read the blueprints of certainly the AI World Society, I mean, they talk about it very explicitly. When you read how 6G works, I did a whole show outlining how we're now in the fifth industrial revolution. Well, in the sixth industry 6.0, if you will, they've outlined 6.0 and then 7.0. They talk about how the power of 6G, and 6G is really going to be harnessing humans in order uh, to be powered and to connect everything to the internet of nanobio things. And they've already mapped this out. The University of Amherst, Massachusetts, like released their studies, and this was a few years ago. So this is not theoretical. I just want to really make that clear. What might be theoretical is where it's being done, how has it been implemented, but the technology is not theoretical. And typically with this type of technology, uh, there are studies that have already been done. And when you look at the Internet of Nanobio things, I mean, there are textbooks on them. There's like countless textbooks on it. There are college students being trained in this field. So if they're being trained in this field, this is not like hypothetical. They're grooming a generation to be able to do this type of work and work with the AI. Okay, so this is the ADHD thing. Yeah, that was kind of scary to me. They talk about children. They can make successful diagnosis and detect the differences with shorter fixation durations, more intrusive saccades, and slower correction latencies in ADHD participants. The AI model's robustness have made it effective for ADHD screening, offering a portable, cost-effective tool for early detection, particularly in areas with limited access to professional services. So, of course, this is couched in, for your benefit, for your good. Hospital management and telemedicine they go through, and yeah, they talk about how they have developed these AI hospitals, and they say it makes China one of the leading nations in AI medical applications globally. So all this really just to say that I just wanted to make the case that I think people were kind of shocked by the DeepSeek release, but China has been working on this type of technology for quite some time, and I think the arms race has been. That was what I think that Trump said, that the reason we needed to do this Stargate was to compete with China. So clearly, they knew that they had some of this already in the work. Um, so, yeah, so we're also, what else to know about AI in Chinese healthcare? The Healthy China 2030, again, interesting timing, initiative and national AI strategy drive AI adoption in healthcare. AI is rapidly expanding in cancer treatment, diagnostic imaging, and telemedicine. I've done a few shows on this. It just seems like cancer is this endless funnel for, it's an excuse to raise money and a cover for so much. And I don't want to undermine those who have suffered. Yeah, that's tragic, obviously. But they seem to undermine so many of the potential ways to help people. And yet they keep asking for more money to do all sorts of research that, invasive or potentially harmful. So, uh, AI powered diagnostic therapeutic solutions were developed for brain and neurological health detection in China. It was able to provide portable, cost effective tools for early detection, especially in areas with limited access to professional services. The Personal Information Protection Law ensures patient privacy while strengthening China's position in developing AI driven uh, healthcare technology. So that is China and healthcare. Um, see what else we have here. Yeah, so it's a whole thing about China's hospital. They have the AI hospital, sorry. And actually, let's play this video. We have China's AI hospitals. It's like a 1 minute video just to hear them talk about it.
Asia has unveiled the world's first AI hospital, Agent Hospital, developed by Tsinghua University in Beijing. Powered by AI doctor agents, this facility diagnoses and treats patients with minimal human intervention, achieving a 93.06% accuracy rate on major respiratory illnesses. Agent Hospital can treat over 10,000 patients in just days, a task that would take human doctors 2 years. It also provides a risk-free environment for medical students to train, employing 14 AI doctor agents and 4 AI nursing agents. This innovation places China at the forefront of global medtech, highlighting Asia's growing role in shaping future healthcare solutions. Dr. Dylan Attard, CEO of MedTech World, praised the development at China's Estron event, emphasizing the need for global collaboration to maximize AI's potential in healthcare. However, challenges remain, with developers stressing the importance of regulatory compliance and thorough validation before the hospital becomes fully operational. Expected to be ready by late 2024, Agent Hospital could transform global healthcare, potentially saving millions of.
Yes, if AI hospital follows standard of care, it's a death trap. I kind of agree. And again, I don't know, this is speculation, but it just looks like with everything that's unfolding, they seem to use China as a model. So I don't know if it's chicken egg kind of situation, but we see this over and over again, right? I've talked about the social value reward system, which the UN claims ad nauseum that it is not the Chinese social credit system. But of course, the only difference is that the government has not mandated it. It is an opt in tyranny situation, but it is essentially the same. And I'm very concerned with that type of social credit. We'll get to that with some of the fintech that this AI technology could really escalate. So here it says, I have another article on the AI towns. China's first hospital town is debut. This was from Global Times. Artificial intelligence AI has been making waves in various industries, and the healthcare sector is no exception. And it says that Stanford's AI town once went viral across the internet last year with 25 intelligent agents living and socializing. So remember, when they talk about these agents, this is why they keep saying that it's autonomous and human centered. These agents are your digital agents and oftentimes your digital twin. So just, to be really clear what they're saying there, living and socializing, resembling a real life Westworld. And now Chinese researchers have developed an AI hospital town. In a recent interview with the Global Times, Chinese researchers shed light on the practical implications of this innovative approach in healthcare. Remarkably, doctors can treat 10,000 patients in just a few days. It would take human doctors at least 2 to treat that many patients. Furthermore, evolved doctor agents achieved an impressive 93.06% accuracy rate on the MedQA data set, US medical licensing exam questions, covering major respiratory diseases. They simulate the entire process of diagnosing and treating patients, including consultation, examination, diagnosis, treatment, and follow up. So I don't know if it's some sort of simulation. I don't know how accurate that assessment is, but a growing field of AI-driven healthcare solutions. They say China is rapidly advancing in AI-driven clinical tools with similar projects already underway. For instance, Tongji University developed MedGo on LLM trained 6,000 medical textbooks, which are now being deployed in hospitals for clinical decision support. Likewise, the Chinese Academy of Sciences CARES Copilot on AI assistant designed to aid physicians diagnosis and treatment. Yeah, so that is I don't know. That seems very, very concerning to me. So there you have it already. China is definitely working on a lot of this, and you know, AI, medical precision medicine technology, and they're already well underway. Um, So let's talk about before we get into some of the other stuff. I did want to point out that I had said that this is not stuff, and it's not the United States. Um, we have DARPA had funded the efforts to in development of the novel brain computer interface technologies, and I have an article from Science Direct, and it goes through the funded efforts in the development of novel brain computer interface technology. They foster this is DARPA's program foster multidisciplinary collaboration. DARPA's BCI program span four main challenges: detect, emulate, store, and improve. This aims to restore function after injury, improve performance of healthy individuals, and you can find the you know this is on Science Direct, but there are many medical journals that have this. And so I just wanted to point out that this stuff has been in the works for a very, very long time, and this is of course DARPA, which is a defense uh, you know uh, research agency. It used to be ARPANET, and they put the D in front of it so they can get their carte blanche black ops budgets to do whatever they wish. So before I close out with the China stuff, just to recap, they have the Agent Hospital. They have AI powered virtual hospitals, AI medical models, the AI medical devices, and then of course the AI in healthcare. Um, all right, so I wanted to play this little video of and then we'll probably close out with the radio. Before I do that, I'll play this video of Larry Ellis, and in it, he talks about the most capable neural networks. So, look at that. We'll see if we can find that.
That we're building, to give you an idea, maybe the most charismatic and the one that I think touches us all is electronic health records, not just maintaining electronic health records, but by looking at electronic health records, understanding the condition of doctors, better understanding the condition of their patients, and being able to provide healthcare plans that are much better than they otherwise would be. We actually provide all of that information, all of that guidance to the doctors who are treating cancer patients or patients with any other kind of disease, made possible by AI. But this is a very exciting program for Oracle to be a part of. AI holds incredible promise for all of us, for every American. We've actually been working with OpenAI for a while and with Masa for a while. The data centers are actually under construction. The first of them are under construction in Texas. Each building's 500,000 square feet. There are 10 buildings currently being built, but that will expand to 20 and other locations beyond the Abilene location, which is our first location. The kind of applications that we're building, to give you an idea, maybe the most charismatic and the one that I think touches us all is electronic health records, not just maintaining electronic health records, but by looking at electronic health records, understanding the condition of doctors, better understanding the condition of their patients, and being able to provide healthcare plans that are much better than they otherwise would be. A doctor in Indian River Reservation would be able to see how a doctor at Memorial Sloan Kettering would treat the patient, or a doctor at Stanford would treat the patient. We actually provide all of that information, all of that guidance to the doctors who are treating cancer patients or patients with any other kind of disease, made possible by AI. I'm not going to take a lot of time. I'm going to pass it to Masa, but this is a very exciting program for Oracle to be a part of.
Well, so of course that's the president of Oracle, and he's very, very excited. That was not the video where you talked about neural networks. We'll get to that. But yeah, before I close out for the radio, I did want to say that Mark Andreessen said that this is the Sputnik moment for AI, and of course, Sputnik 1 launched by the Soviet Union. This is the Cold War kind of reference. By the Soviet Union on October 4th, 1957. It was the first artificial satellite to orbit the Earth. Unmanned research and communication satellite was roughly the size of a basketball and about 184 pounds. It carried low power radio transmitter that emitted a regular beeping sound, which radio listeners they could hear worldwide. And the batteries died on October 26, 1957, and the satellite burned up in Earth's atmosphere on January 4th, 1958. But I think that is interesting. That Andreessen thought that this was the Sputnik moment for AI. It kind of does seem that way. So I don't know. We will this seen, but I am a little bit concerned. I would like to be optimistic. I think there are some good things that AI can provide, and if they do, you know, the things that they say, this sounds like a utopia. So let's hope that it ends up that way and not dystopia, because that's kind of what it's looking like to me. Um, so yeah, this will be. We're gonna close out. I'll yeah, yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. So I'm just reading some of the comments as you were listening on the radio. So I'm reading through some of that. And yeah, so if you, we're going to play the outro, but if you're listening live, definitely stay on and we'll continue because I have a lot more to go through. So if you want to stay with me, and if you're listening on the radio, this is, it's January 27th already. And this has been an honor to be with you on WWCR Worldwide Radio. And you can find the rest of this. It will be up on all my podcast channels. And that is again, CourtenayTurner.com. So CourtenayTurner.com. And if you would be so kind to support my work, there are free ways you can do that. So I know not everybody is in a position to do financial support, but you can follow me on social media and like and share and subscribe to all my platforms. All of those things don't cost you anything, and they're greatly appreciated, and they really do help. So, and if you are in a position to support the work, that is also really appreciated and really needed. So we have, the Buy Me a Coffee, and we also have the GiveSendGo and the Venmo, and then we have some really great products. So check out all the links below for that, and you'll find the relaxonic.com, the rncstore.com, our new products to boost your immunity. And then we also still have the Cognitive Liberty Conference. So definitely check that out if you haven't yet, because unfortunately we've been too busy to switch over the platform. So that is still up there. And that's cognitiveliberityconference.com. So you can still get the tickets to watch the 2-day conference that we did. And it exceeded my expectations. So if you haven't seen it, I highly encourage you to do that. And then of course, check out my Substack, because I will be putting premium content on there. So if you can become a paid subscriber, I greatly appreciate that. And also send your suggestions on what kind of premium content you would like. And I will do my best to oblige. And I'm figuring out what kind of a structure I'm going to work over there. And then I will read you again just my snail mail option for those of you who would want that. That is a Courtenay Turner, 6041 Rural Plains Circle, Suite 110, number 106, Franklin, Tennessee, 37064. And again, thank you so much. And that will close out for the radio. But if you're watching this live, stay, and we'll have a lot more to go through. So I'll see you in just a little bit.
Thanks. Hey, Larry. Jackson Ader at KeyBank Capital Markets. If I think about 2029, what about artificial intelligence has to go right for those targets to be hit? And how right does it have to go for those targets to be hit? Thank you.
Okay, I think on the AI, I mean, our dependency on AI. By 2029, I can guarantee you AI is not going to be the problem. Because the simple phrase, the race goes on. And I mean, this is like Formula One. What do I mean by that? It's really not one winner. I mean, you got 3 people on the podium, but it's really kind of one winner. Someone's going to be better than this than anybody else. And multiple people are trying. and there is a race. If you listen to Jensen Huang, and I'm sure you do, I know you do because I've seen his stock price, and I know I went to dinner with Elon in Nobu Palo Alto. I went to dinner with Elon Musk, Jensen Huang, and I went to dinner, and I would describe the dinner as Oracle and me and Elon begging Jensen for GPUs. Please take our money. Please take our money. By the way, I got dinner. Please take our money. Take more of it. You're not taking enough that we need you to take more of our money, please. It went okay. It worked. I mean, the demand for GPUs, the desire to be first, the desire to build the most capable neural network in the world, getting there first is a big deal. Whether it's getting there first in self-driving or getting there first in reading cancer biopsy slides, getting there first in synthesizing video and making movies, but this impacts so many. Doing protein design, build design. We're very involved in designing both small molecules and protein, much larger molecules, peptides, proteins, for cancer therapeutics, designing cancer therapeutics. Being first is very important. And the guys who are in this race are very smart, and they understand they need to be best at something. They'd like to be first. So they're spending a lot of time and a lot of money begging Jensen. We're building data centers. My God, we're building nuclear reactors. Are you kidding me? That sounds completely made up, but it's not. You need a lot of power to power acres of these it's acres of these GPU clusters. I'm not sure. Has anything like this ever happened before? You know what basic stakes is? You know what it costs to build a frontier model? Anyone know over the next three years? How much will be spent if you're one of the companies that want to build a frontier model? How much will you spend? Anybody? Anyone want to guess? 10 billion? Anyone? 100 billion? Yeah, 100 billion. That's kind of gets you in the game. Put down your 100 billion. You ever see Molly's Game? You come in and you say, here's my money. Okay. It's not Molly's Game. It's a bigger game. Put in your 100 billion, and you're in the race.
100 million. Okay.
Not a lot of people, not a lot of companies, not a lot of countries will.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm reading some of this. I had the same question. He's 80 years old. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm with you, Jonathan. I'm not sure I want to know what he's taking, what youth potion it is. I'm kind of curious, but that is crazy. Yeah, he definitely does not look 80. But yeah, wow. So he talked about neural networks in there. He also kept saying this is a race, right? This is a race to be the first, So yeah, that's very concerning. I feel like the next thing I should play before I even get into the Stargate stuff is I do have this video. The technology is complicated, and I don't know that I'm going to, in this show, go through too much of it, because if you're not versed with how all of these like wireless body networks work, and how the body sensors, biometric sensors that are, some of them can be implanted. You can also have this graphene kind of mesh technology. There are a lot of ways they can do it. But I think maybe I'll play this video, so it just gives a little overview. So you kind of have a sense of this technology, so the nanotechnology.
This is also very active. People are trying to develop these nano antennas. The graphene is a 1/8 thick planar sheet of bonded carbon atoms in honeycomb crystal lattice like this. And then the carbon nanotubes are like these folded nanoribbons. They have high current capacity and high thermal conductivity. That means they are very energy efficient. That's what we're also looking for, right? energy efficient resources. Now, once these devices are developed, and they can be used for many, many applications, especially when they are put together and they create these networks. One of the applications is, it's kind of like intra-body nano networks. I mean, now there are these body area networks. I'm not talking about those. We're talking about like intra-body nano networks, like these nano devices will be injected into the body, for example, into the blood, for example, and they will have zillions of them, like white and red blood cells, and they will be like additional cells, and then they will communicate cooperatively. So there's a nice cooperative communication, and then they will attack the viruses and bacteria, right? So it sounds very science fiction. And then advanced health systems, we talked about it. It's just showing another like mobile health stuff, right? That could be also part of this. And then another thing here is these chemical attacks, where with nanosensors, nanosensing units, you can capture those chemical attacks and alarm them. So these are some examples. Here is this terabit wireless networks. You know, like how can we operate these terabit per second wireless networks? And that's kind of like 5G, but I think it will be like 6 or 7G.
Yeah. So, and if you saw, one of those dates was 1991. So again, this isn't really new technology. It's advancing, and I think that's the part that's concerning, is how much this is advancing and where they're at now. All right, so now that we painted a kind of scary, in my opinion, picture, we can talk about the Stargate, and this is, of course, OpenAI, SoftBank, Oracle. We just heard from Larry Ellis, and we'll hear from him more, where he talks about how they're basically creating a panopticon. He doesn't use that word, but he talks about surveillance quite a bit. So, and MGX, which that's a metagenome, which is a very interesting company, along with, so of course they're also interfacing with Microsoft. Microsoft, I don't think it was officially part of this consortium, but the $500 billion Stargate plan, but they interact with a lot of these companies, so they will be. So yeah, so let's go through who these various companies are. So we have we'll start with OpenAI, which OpenAI is the leading artificial intelligence research. One other thing I wanted to point out is that, yeah, this is to power the US AI. One thing I wanted to point out is they're not all American. This is really a Silicon Valley. I think one of them is actually SoftBank, is a Japanese company. And a lot of these companies work internationally. So this is really not like, this is to power American AI, is what this project Stargate is, but this is really coming out of Silicon Valley, some other companies that are not even based in the United States. So the leading artificial intelligence research organization founded in 2015, developed AI technologies, of course, such as ChatGPT, for a lot of you are very familiar with, the and other advanced models for language processing, robotics, and general AI. So let's see, I think I had a couple of links that we could look at, like their LinkedIn, just to give you a pretty big overview. Oh, one of the things I thought was really interesting. So, okay, so this is their LinkedIn, and they talk about how they're a cloud technology company. They provide organizations around the world with computing infrastructure and software that help them innovate, unlock efficiencies that become more effective, and also created the world's first and only autonomous database to help organize and secure customers' data. They talk about the Oracle Cloud. But one of the things I thought was really interesting when I was looking through this is that they had a Oracle Health meeting summit, and this is actually in my state, in Tennessee, was in Nashville, and they have a whole video from this summit that was in 2024. I didn't know about it, actually, and they talk about how this is a pivotal year for Oracle Health, Oracle Life Sciences, culminating in the Oracle Health Summit in Nashville, Tennessee. And they're thanking their customers, partners, and other industry experts who were able to join them. And of course, the they shout out to Larry Ellison, the CTO, for the vision of future of healthcare. And then a couple of bullet points that they highlight are that it's the next generation Oracle Health electronic health record. And of course, we in that last video, we heard Larry Ellis talking about these electronic health records, right? This database. And that database is very, very concerning to me. I know I talked about the AI World Society plans for like 2055. They have like a whole EMT structure where they'll be able to know just as soon as your heart is like failing and as soon as you need emergency help, like kind of the way an Apple Watch would alert, but it will be because you have all these biosensors. I don't know. This stuff is very concerning because yes, it could potentially save a life, and that's great. If you wear an Apple Watch and you choose to have that connected, that is your prerogative, but you know that you're being surveilled. But a lot of these technologies are creating a scenario where everybody is going to be surveilled. And if you can be surveilled and if they can data mine it, they can control it. That's what we need to really understand. So this is embedded with AI and military grade security. This is really like the Patriot Act 2.0, which will make it easier for doctors to prepare appointments, deliver. So I don't know about you, but I haven't found any of this electronic record stuff making it easier to deal with doctors. Every single doctor I go to has a portal, and these portals, it's an app. It's a portal. You have to wait for the response. They won't even take a phone call until you've done a million hours of paperwork on through this portal. So far, none of this seems to be expediting my experience, but that's what they claim. So it's going to make it easier and deliver insights at the point of care and simplify information exchange among providers, patients, and payers when it's launched in 2025. So I guess they're just not there yet. That's what it is. But Oracle Health Patient Portal is a cloud application that makes it easier for patients to manage their care by providing a single location to communicate with their clinicians, search for new ones, schedule appointments, view their test results and prescriptions, request refills, pay their bills, and more. And the clinical AI agent, cloud-based AI tool that enhances physician productivity by capturing and patient exchanges, improving documentation accuracy, and simplifying clinical decision making. So the AI is going to be making decisions for the doctors, great. So more time can be spent on delivering care. Oracle site feasibility and Oracle patient recruitment cloud services. Why is all this tech doing medical? Yeah. Okay, which will help life sciences organizations reduce the cost and complexity of clinical trials so they can get life-saving drugs and treatments to market faster. They go on, but yes, so I just thought that was very interesting. That it happened to have been in my state. And so, yeah, I think she's right. So yeah, Karen was saying that Catherine Austin Fitz is very much against medical electronic records, and I respect and trust her opinion. I'm very much against it too. I mean, once upon a time, I'm old enough to remember when I would go to the doctor, and they would actually ask me questions they didn't intake in person, and they actually spend some time with you in the beginning. Now everything is automated, and they don't even read it half the time. So I haven't seen that this is improved care. Now I'm sure there's always exceptions, but that is not what I have witnessed. And I think more than that, I'm just really concerned about what it means, all of this data mining. So, they're already collecting all this biometric data. We see what they've done with collecting biometric data in the school on the children, and we see how they're using that to create these feedback loops, cybernetic feedback loops. And I keep pointing out that they're doing new Macy's. This is the Association for Cybernetics now has a new. They're trying to revive the cybernetic conferences. And I don't think that's a coincidence that they're doing that now. I think that the fact that this AI technology is advancing so much is why that they're trying to figure out how they can ramp up this cybernetic data mining feedback loops. So then, of course, we have, so that's the Oracle company. Then we have this MGX, which is also known as Metagenomics. And I did do a tweet. I think I also put this on my Substack and my Telegram channel. So if you know, if you saw that, you're probably already familiar with this. But the Metagenomics Inc. is a precision genetic medicine company committed to developing curated therapeutic for patients using its proprietary gene editing toolbox. Today provided updates on the successful achievement of critical milestones across its therapeutic development program and technology platforms in 2024, anticipated milestones for 2025 and 2006. Our vision at Metagenomics is to create curative genetic medicines for patients by harnessing the power of metagenomics platform. And that was Brian Thomas, who is the CEO and founder of Metagenomics. MGX announced in September it would partner with BlackRock and Microsoft to build data centers and expand energy capacity for AI's growing demand. The $30 billion plan is expected to grow to $100 million. That must be a typo. When debt financing included, the firm's founding partners also have made a plethora of investments into tech, ranging from AI to biotech to climate tech. So those of you who have followed my work on the natural asset company, that's what climate tech is all about, right? Remember, I was saying how regenerative farming. So we have regenerative everything. They've redefined what regenerative actually means. I can't even say the word regenerative. But they talk about regenerative economy, the regenerative medicine, regenerative farming. But regenerative is redefined in their world. And in the farming world, I mean, I'm a big fan of organic practices, and certainly if a farmer chooses to do that, I would prefer to purchase organic farming and produce. However, what they mean by this is it's all part of a degrowth agenda, and it's really about a net zero. Of course, this is zero green carbon emissions, right? Zero greenhouse gases, as they call them, and that's really what it's about. So, with the natural asset company, they had done the SEC had proposed these like ESG regulations, and the farmers pushed back. Now, you would think they would push back because the SEC has no purview over these types of regulations. There was a gross overreach. However, that's actually not why they pushed back. They ended up pushing back because they had no way to record their ESG. Don't you worry, income climate smart commodity projects. And this is all about monitoring your greenhouse gas emissions and administering carbon credits and biodiversity credits. So anyway, all this just to say that's what they mean by climate tech. It's that they're going to monitor your greenhouse gas emissions, because remember, you are the carbon they want to reduce. So Metagenomics is precision genetic medicines company committed to developing a curative therapeutic patient using its proprietary comprehensive derived toolbox. And I'll read more of that, but I think before I do, I wanted to play you the video from Larry Ellison. I'm sorry, we have to, I know he's can be a little creepy, but watch him talk about how he basically wants to create a panopticon. So
the police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording, watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on them. I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of applications using AI, if we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video. So if that altercation that occurred in Memphis, the chief of police would be immediately notified. It's not people that are looking at those cameras, it's AI that's looking at the camera. No, you can't do this. It would be like a shooting. That's going to be immediately, that's going to be an event that's
So
immediately,
AI is going to be the Stasi
an
now.
alarm is going to go off. It's going to be, and we're going to have supervision. In other words, every police officer is going to be supervised at all times. And the supervision will, and if there's a problem, AI will report the problem and report it to the appropriate person, whether it's the sheriff or the chief or whomever we need to take control of the situation. We have, same thing, we have drones. We just, if there's something going on in a shopping center, and I'll stop, a drone goes out there and get there way faster than a police car. There's no reason for, by the way, high-speed chases. You shouldn't have high-speed chases between cars. You just have a drone follow the car. I mean, it's very, very simple. And the new generation of autonomous drones.
Autonomous drones. No, we shouldn't even have traffic laws. Like nothing about this is constitutional. This is all a racketeering scheme. They can meet their quotas, and it's just another way of collecting money. But now he's talking about having AI play Stasi. This is just like, yeah, I know he acts like he's genuinely excited for us to have security in our daily lives. He does. He's like giddy about it. The AI is going to be his Stasi crew, and he's very, very happy about it. So yeah, if you had any questions about them trying to create the Patriot Act 2.0 and a complete like surveillance state panopticon, I mean, I think he basically just said it. Yeah, and someone said that this caused damages, and we race for a solution. And this is round 2 eugenics and population control. It certainly might be, unfortunately. At the very least, it's definitely a panopticon surveillance state. Okay, so let's go on with metagenomics. And I really think this is all about synthetic biology. And that field is that is not theoretical. We know that is very, very real. I had done a thread back in 2020, and then I got kicked off Twitter, and so I don't know if it's even still there, but it was a very long thread all about the DARPA hydrogel, and this is where they were using hydra-like substances, but it was actually a synthetic hydra that acts like a parasite, like a biological parasite in the body. And this is a very real thing that they were using, they've tested, and that exists. So the synthetic biology is not theoretical, it's a very real technology. Metagenomics is a precision genetic medicine company. So I read a lot of that, but I wanted to point out a couple of things that I had highlighted in the technology development. Their 2024 achievements that they're very proud of. Yeah, unlocking 4 billion years of microbial evolution to cure disease. Yes, so that would be great if that's really what's going to happen. But so the 2024 presented compact smart nucleuses. So this is synthetic technological monitoring nucleuses, demonstrating robust in vitro genome editing activity at multiple therapeutic relevant loci. Metagenomics continues to use AI, ancestral state reconstruction, and this is, I'm just reading from the Morningstar.com article that's on metagenomics. So it continues to use AI, ancestral state reconstruction, and structural biology to enhance our gene editing systems, as highlighted with our recent publication, Nature Communications. Doesn't sound very natural, does it? I don't know. These compact, smart gene editing tools are small enough to fit within a associated virus. So, and then expanding our delivery options. So, if those of you who are familiar with Charles Lieber and Lang, the work that they did, of course, Charles Lieber is partnered with Elon Musk on the Neuralink. He patented the Neuralace, which is that mesh. I think Neuralink is a little bit of kind of a decoy. I don't think, I mean, there are people who've opted into it. I'm not encouraging it, but I mean, if you want to, that's your choice. But I think it's to get people amped up looking in that direction. BlackRock has their own variation of it. Nobody ever talks about that. But really, they have technology that doesn't need to be implanted. So I really think that it's to get you to kind of look over there, but I could be wrong. But if you're familiar with Charles Lieber, he had the patent on a lot of the work that he was doing. Remember, they arrested him. He went to jail for tax fraud. That I think that was kind of the cover story because they that was going on all along. He was part of the Thousand Talents program with China, and he also had a research lab with Harvard. And Harvard claimed they had no idea what was going on, even though they owned a big portion of his house. So they obviously knew what was going on. But he had technology on. This is where a lot of the theory that the injection were in nanotechnology, because he had the patent on injectable nano mesh technology, essentially. And one thing he kept talking about was how if you implant something that is small enough, like a virus, like the size of a virus. Now, remember, they've never been able to isolate virus because they can't see them. Like, you need like an electron microscopy, kind of a microscope to be able to. And I think actually for virus, you might need a nano. I don't know. But they're very, very small. But his point was that if they made it small enough, then they could, that even though it was synthetic, it could behave the body would be impacted by it. And that's essentially what they're saying here, enough to fit within an adeno-associated virus, expand our delivery option. And then they talk about novel identity editors. So they're really talking about like synthetic proteins, which is what Larry Ellis was talking about with Oracle. And they say that they can target over 90%, 95% of the genome. Um, and then they talk about how they are continuing to advance CRISPR associated transfocast. So they call them CATSTS, including testing these systems in new human cell types with therapeutically relevant targets and cargo, demonstrated improvements to RNA integration-based systems for corrective of multiple mutations known to cause disease. So they're claiming they're going to do all sorts of genetic editing. So they're an investment firm, and compared to the other, they claim to be lesser known, although I don't think that's true now. And they focus on AI, machine learning, advanced technologies, and yeah. So to go through all of them, I think SoftBank is the only we didn't cover, and they are. This is the Japanese company. Let me see if I can find the information I have on SoftBank. Yeah, so the founder is Masayoshi. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Son, and he is the founder and CEO of SoftBank, and it's a Japanese media technology conglomerate. And they're a multinational conglomerate and investment powerhouse. Fund invested heavily in startups and emerging technologies. So that is what I have on them. And let's see if I have anything else out on that. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to cover a little bit of the Internet of Bio thing. Let me see if I can get to that. I have here. Sorry, bear with me for just a minute. Let's see. Okay, so I have document. I'm trying to find the year on. Okay, this one was from 2021, December of 2021. They talk about the Internet of Bio Nanothings, the review of applications enabling technology challenges. And I will just I'll read you just the abstract of it. It's the Internet of Bio Nanothings. It is envisioned to be a heterogeneous network of nanoscale biological devices, so-called bio nanothings, communicating via non-conventional molecular communication in molecular communication in non-conventional environments inside the human body. The main objective of this emergent networking framework is to enable direct and seamless interaction with biological systems for an accurate sensing and control of their dynamics in real time. This close interaction between bio and cyber domains with unprecedentedly high spatiotemporal resolution is expected to open up vast opportunities to devise novel applications, especially in healthcare area, such as intra-body continuous health monitoring. There are, however, substantial challenges to be overcome if the enormous potential of the Internet of Bio-Nano-Things is to be realized. These range from developing feasible nanocommunication of energy harvesting techniques for bio-nanotechnologies to handling big data generated by Internet of Bio-Nanotechnology. In this survey, we attempt to provide a comprehensive overview of the Internet of Bio-Nano-Things framework, along with its main components and application. An investigation of key technological challenges is presented together with a detailed review of the state-of-the-art approaches and a discussion of future research direction. So I won't read that whole thing. You can find that. It's pretty easy to find. But yeah, I really just kind of want to make the point that this, because I keep talking about how it's in the AI World Society structure, but now I think what they're really going to do is make this very much a part of the private sector framework. So let me see if I have any, and I guess I'll pause a little bit to see if anybody has questions, or I'll read some of the comments. So, oh, we got a copy of Game B together. I don't know that one. And okay, I'll have to look at that. And the Kissingers, this is a latest book on AI. I have not read it. I do have it. I've kind of skimmed through it. Yes, and digital twins like the Bruce Willis movie. Um, the digital twin thing is really, really freaky. I kind of feel like I talk a lot about their spiritual kind of underpinnings, and I think it's relevant. There's a lot of new kind of, I think, just religious undertones to a lot of this. And the Michael Dukakis's book that the Boston Global Forum is using to work in partnership with the AI.net. It's the UN 100 Centennial Plan for the AI World Society, and it's called Remaking the World: The Age of Global Enlightenment. So I do think that there is very much that tone, that underpinning. And when you look at the AI World Society, I mean, like all the semiotics are just very. They have a lot of kind of new age kind of. That's what they evoke. So. But yeah, so I encourage people to check that out. But yeah, so when I'm talking about all of that, I do think that that is all, very, that they're kind of intertwined, because it's this vision of creating, I don't know, it looks like a cyber Satan to me. But the digital twins, the reason I was bringing that up is because the new agers talk about the twin flames, right? And I think that that's kind of what the digital twins are, right? That's your twin flame, the spiritual realm. I don't know. The name Stargate does have spiritual connotations, absolutely. I think it is. I think they chose that name very intentionally, and I do think, as I mentioned, the CIA project Stargate was all about remote viewing, and a lot of these new agers believe that they're psychic. Either they're psychic, or they have the ability to channel the ascended masters who will give them visions from the future. And actually, the AI World Society, they have a document. It's like their vision for 2075, and in that document, I've read this before, but on it is that we're here from the future, and they're saying that it's 2045. And they talk about why they need this AI World Society, and how fortunate they are to have it. But of course, it's an ascended master they channel from the future, who comes down to grace us with this vision from the future and why we need this AI world society. So, yeah, I do think that they're all kind of connected. Although a lot of the people who are looking into some of this, you know, technology and the Internet of Nanobio things and the how they're using surveillance for the security state, they do not believe that any of the stuff is relevant. And I guess it's not entirely. I think when you understand the that these people have, you understand why they're doing this. So I do think that that's actually that it is intertwined. And it's helpful to understand that. So that's why I spend so much time laying all that out. um, an interesting study would be to survey the public about their beliefs and if they align with the UN agenda and AI, or whether or not they care. Yeah, that would be very interesting. Uh, all right, so then we'll go on. I did a little bit just of kind of what the financial implications of this might be. Um, so just to recap some of the healthcare stuff, and this is actually relevant. Actually, we'll get to that because it was really about how it would the healthcare would tie into the financial. But I keep saying that I'm very happy that Trump has said that we are not going to using central bank digital currencies. That is great. However, I'm very concerned about the network states and about the cryptocurrencies being utilized in the private sector. And this is, I saw this as a tweet from The Nation, and it was saying that Kroger has partnered with Microsoft. Now, remember, Microsoft is kind of like a subset of this whole Stargate project, right? But they have partnered with Microsoft to install facial recognition in stores to identify uh, individual customers, which could allow individual shoppers to see prices calibrated specifically for them. This is like a social credit system on steroids. The next shopper might pay a different amount based on their profile. I that is just like really dystopian. So this is not just a social credit system based on like your app. Now they're doing facial recognition technology, and they're now determining. Now there was, oh, was it I think it was the omnibus bill where they talked about the kill switch in the cars and how they have, I think it's by 2026, all the cars will have to have this installed, and or anyone after 2026, and it essentially is going to be collecting your biometric data and reading your facial expressions, and if that you look too angry to drive today, and so then it will just shut off. Um, I mean, obviously, I'm making a hypothetical. I don't really know that that's what's going to happen. But the fact that they're tracking your facial recognition and making assessments based on that, yeah, look, Jack, exactly. Um, all right, so I'm very concerned about the private sector using the cryptocurrency. Those of you who watched my Game B series, will understand kind of why that is a huge concern. They really have laid out, and it's not just Game B. I mean, with Web3, which is the next iteration of the so risk concerns about surge prices. Yeah. I'm reading a document on the screen. But the really what they're aiming for, and like I said, it's not just Game B. They're with the new version of the World Wide Web, which they call Web3. They are really mapping out kind of a gamified society, and it's tokenized, and it's tokenized based on like your pro-social behavior. Bloomberg talks about this. This is all about like kind of your it really is like ESG on steroids. And I've laid out what B Corps are, and this is B Lab has the SDG adapter assessment to see how well SDG metrics are like what you're rating it on those. That's already like a social credit system. And there's 6,000 companies in this. Patagonia, Ben and Jerry's. I just did a tweet on this. Put it on my Substack and my Telegram as well. with Ben and Jerry's and how they talk about how they're like an activism company, and they're B Corp. So it's really, and they're rated 96 now, but they were at like 110 in 2017. So I'm not sure what they did to be downgraded. So I guess that's why they're doing all these videos, is to try and climb back up on their it's social and environmental impact is what theirs is. So it's so governance isn't part of that one, but its SDG adapter does have, obviously has the governance component. But the B Corp, they talk about social and environmental impact. Um, so yeah. You weren't staying linked to satisfaction. Interesting. Yeah, the cars have all sorts of, even if you don't have one of these like Tesla kind of self-driving cars, a lot of the newer cars have all of the kind of monitoring technology within them. All right, so I wanted to see like what impact the either DeepSeek, which I don't know too much about, except that everybody keeps saying, or I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people are claiming that it's way better than the Stargate's technology, which would be like OpenAI and this stuff that we already know of. But I wanted to look into what potential ramifications would be for tokenization. And so if you remember last live stream, I talked a little bit about tokenization. This is this gamification of the economy where you could own like fractal components of something, like real assets, and you could have a token. So you have a portion of real estate, or you could be rewarded with tokens, like in the AI World Society, where they talk about the social value reward system. And if you're a good doobie, you get this many tokens, or you get a UBI and token for a certain allotment of tokens, and then if you watch certain ads, you might get more. Or if they want to give you demerits, they might just decide you get no tokens that month. So tokenization in data security. So tokenization is a process where sensitive data, i.e. like patient records, genomic data, is replaced with unique identifiers or quote unquote tokens that cannot be reverse engineered without a secure mapping system. So the application are, if Stargate is a platform for managing large-scale medical data, it likely will use tokenization to secure sensitive health information while enabling AI models to analyze the anonymized data. So they keep using these terms like autonomous, anonymous, decentralized. So far, I've seen no indication that that is really true, but that is kind of what they are claiming. So those are but buzzwords. This ensures compliance with data privacy laws like HIPAA and GDPR while supporting global data sharing initiatives. And then they talk about tokenization in natural language processing. And this is tokenization is a process of breaking down the text into smaller units, words, phrases, or characters that AI models can then analyze. Yeah, some money will be more equal than other money. That's right, exactly. Just like some faces will warrant different prices at Kroger. Exactly. That is the concern. DeepSeek uses NLP processes unstructured medical data, such as doctor's notes, research papers, and tokenization is essential for preparing that text for analysis, which allows the AI to extract meaningful insights, such as identifying potential symptoms or treatments mentioned in the medical literature. Tokenization for blockchain or decentralized system. If either system integrates blockchain for secure decentralized data storage, tokenization could refer to creating cryptographic tokens that represent data assets or assets rights. This would enhance the transparency and security of data sharing frameworks. So that they're saying that AI, big data, or secure data sharing in precision medicine will likely use tokenization in one or more of these contexts. Um, so they say that it could have a meaningful impact on cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, particularly in healthcare and precision medicine sectors. So they talk about the ways that it's linked to cryptocurrencies, tokenization in healthcare could create unique digital tokens representing medical data assets such as patient health records, genomic data. So I don't know what the implications of this could be. Like, are they going to now, is some data going to be worth more than other data? Is some genomic blueprints going to be worth more than other? I don't know. But this is all very interesting. These tokens could potentially be traded or used with the blockchain system. So again, this is like a gamified system. Uh, it's a blockchain ecosystem similar to how cryptocurrencies function currently. Example cases, patients could tokenize their data and sell or share it with researchers in exchange for cryptocurrency or other incentives. Health-focused blockchain platform, Ethereum, healthcare, apps. These are what they call decentralized apps. I've been talking quite a bit about this. These decentralized apps, which things like hollow chains, which is built on top of blockchain usually, and so that you can use tokens or NFTs, some sort of cryptocurrency for transaction and access. And then blockchain integration for secure sharing. So Stargate will facilitate secure data sharing. Blockchain could serve as the backbone, enabling what they consider to be decentralized and tamper-proof. Although I don't have that clip, but Lenny basically proved that to be not true. And I think that was back in 2014. Impact on cryptocurrency could be for transaction fees, incentivizing participation, or rewarding users for sharing anonymized medical data on the platform. Decentralized finance. So this is DeFi for healthcare now. I had talked about DeFi, in terms of the gamified society, but now they're talking about it for healthcare. Innovating funding models, cryptocurrencies could enable decentralized funding for precision medicine research. Researchers could raise funds through crypto-backed platforms where stakeholders, not shareholders, stakeholders, could be invest in tokenized research projects. So that was this Web3, how you use tokens, and that is really where we're headed. Is this Web3 kind of internet reward systems, patients and contributors to research. So by providing more data, now remember, the more data you provide, the better these cybernetic feedback loops get. They have to data mine in order to then be able to program and potentially they could use that to control you. We see that with social media. We see that all the time with social media, right? They constantly collect data from you, and then they use that data to create these cybernetic feedback loops to, have targeted algorithms that target you, either silo you or feed you specific propaganda or put you in an echo chamber. We see that already. I mean, I don't even think I need to expound on that further. There's so much documentation, particularly from NATO intelligence, actually, the cognitive warfare document. They talk about how they're going to use emotions in order to weaponize you and create these cybernetic feedback loops. But I think we can see that. We don't even need to go through all those documents. Enhanced transparency and trust. Blockchain transparency could complement systems like Stargate. I love how they talk about transparency. They use all these words that sound great, right? So it's transparent, but yet it's private. It's it's a decentralized, but everything's interoperable. Like I don't know. It sounds just like an oxymoronic mess. Blockchain transparency complements systems like Stargate, providing a verifiable ledger of how medical data is used. Cryptocurrencies could incentivize ethical use of medical data by ensuring that contributors are fairly compensated and that data usage is audible. So it's audible, but it's all auditable. Yes, yeah, exactly. It's the 060606 patent using our energy, right? That one is really concerning. And, when they start talking about some this biofield stuff, it sounds just like so hokey, like it doesn't even sound real, but it actually is. I mean, I think it's both. Some of it is not quite like, some of it is a vision. They don't have all of the tools mapped out. I don't think technology is completely where some of these things are talking about. But when you look at things like the, bioresonance technology, that's already there. And, they have the kind of exoteric uh, veneer of these very benign kinds of meditative apps with biofeedback and and those have done great good for people. So I'm not trying to disparage those, but when you hear them say how they want to create like global heart and brain coherence, and they're going to use our like electromagnetic bioresonance to do it, that that doesn't sound like they need our consent for it. So yeah, um, there's something very social about our energy. I would agree. It's kind of like when you all know Harari talks about, yeah, this is heart math, it's the brainchild of Barbara Marx Hubbard. But when they talk about like how, like you all know Harari will say how we don't have any consciousness and we don't have free, but yet they're going to upload that to the cloud, to the Highborg mind. That doesn't even make sense, right? Yeah, Heart Math Institute. I think, yeah, the biofield, definitely. I think that the wearing the mask and social distancing, I think that was also about fine tuning some of the facial recognition data because and yeah, the technology for that. I think that you need to have a certain amount of space for them to be able to read the biometric data, and I think they were working on refining that, and that was part of what that was exercise was all about. On top of it being a compliance test, which they admitted. I mean, their documents admitted that was a compliance test, so I do think that was a part of it. Okay, so then say that did you face regulatory scrutiny? So that is a potential challenge. HIPAA compliance. So wait, does this sound like a bit of a contradiction? Because before they were talking about how this is all so private and so secure, and this meets all the HIPAA requirements, but now they're saying that it might be a concern regarding privacy and HIPAA compliance. Yeah, and financial oversight. Adoption healthcare institutions may be slow to adopt crypto-driven models due to security concerns. Mm-hmm. I thought it was so private and decentralized. So where's the concern? And infrastructure limitations, and I could definitely see that infrastructure limitation. Um, so yeah, so let's see what else I have for you. I think we might be winding down, but go through some of these. Okay, yes. So some of these tokenization of medical cryptocurrencies. So, yes, I think we went through all of these. The buying and sharing of their data, blockchain, decentralized. Yes, so I think we went through all of this. Um, let's see if I have anything else that I left out. I think no, I think we're kind of winding down. Imagine that. I might have kept this at a kind of reasonable time. Where I linked some of the comments. Before World War II, medical and science tome scrub 18th century electromagnetism. Yeah, the biofield insurance. Oh wow. Biofield billable into insurance. That's interesting. I'm not familiar with that. Um, yeah, Rockefeller medicine. We've done a few shows on that. The Flexner report of 1910. Let's see if I have anything else I want to bring up before we close out. If you have any questions or yeah, I think that was. Let me check one more list. Yeah, I think we went through everything. So, all right. So yeah, if anybody else has any questions. Um, all right. Well, if not, then I guess we'll wrap it up. I will look into a little bit more of the technologies. I didn't want to make this like a super heavy on the you know, Internet of Nanobio things, neural networks, but I can certainly do that if that's of interest to people. I find that stuff like very creepy and very dark. So, but it is important to know what's out there. And yeah, I am very, very, I don't know, I'm cautiously optimistic. I hope it will get some pushback on some of this stuff. It does seem like it's inevitable. So I think we really just need to be very careful about how we tread forward with all of this. I, I think the thing that it didn't cover was really the humanity 2.0. And that is what they keep saying they want. And that seems to be where this is all going. And this merger, it's a transhuman agenda. And I want to see human 1.0 stay. But they do have this human 2.0 like foundation, and it seems to be working with a lot of the big NGOs. Keep talking all the same word, the human flourishing, whatever that means. They've redefined what that means, so it doesn't mean what I think. And also, it's so personal. What is human flourishing to you? Now you're gonna have like these, you know, the, the World Economic Forum, all these other various foundations that could tell us what human flourishing is, I guess. So, all right. Well, hope you had a great weekend and happy Sunday. And thanks for sticking through all this with me. And definitely, if you can, please support me in any way you can. You can like, share, subscribe. Definitely check out my Substack. That's where my podcasts are, other than live stream, podcasts are released first there. So if you want to get the early scoop, then that's where you can get it. I am going to be working on premium content over there, so that will be for the paid subscribers, and I'm going to work on figuring out a tier system. So if there's premium content that you would like to see, suggestions on that. As I said, I'm thinking about doing like a book club. That might, if that's fun to you, let me know. And I'm open to suggestions there. And then, of course, Cognitive Liberty Conference. Again, that's cognitiveliberityconference.com. So if you haven't seen that, check that out as well. And yeah, then there's again, I'll just read you my snail mail option. And not just for physical support. If you want to write me letters, I've gotten some handwritten letters from, and I always really enjoy that. That's such a treat because nobody actually writes anymore, like physically writes. So that's kind of special. But yeah, so you can do that at Courtenay Turner, 60401 Circle, Suite 110, number 6, Franklin, Tennessee, 37064. All right, I got one vote for the book club. All right. Yeah, maybe I can catch up to you on the cave, Herman's book. But yeah, I think that would be what I would start with actually. So that is a great suggestion. So if you want that, and then of course, in all the other ways, all the other products, and you can click all the links below. And I'll stop rambling. Thank you all so much for joining me. And until next time.